today's episode, we're going to be discussing stepping or having new experiences which you thought were going to be amazing, positive, and a great experience, and realizing that it might not actually be what it appears to be.
And really about stepping to new job for Allison.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how I've been going with my new job for the last 7 months.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast show. This is the Phoenix Awakened podcast. I'm your host, Jayson, Infinite Magic.
I'm Allison. Welcome back,
The
everyone.
lovely Allison. We're back again for another show, everyone.
So like we said, we're going to be discussing about our jobs, but the topic I feel like it on a broader spectrum is for anyone else out there that you also, like in our situation, experiencing a new job, and it may not be all that glitters is gold, pretty much. And that can be down to any experience. It doesn't have to be a job, but our experience is a job.
Yeah, we thought we'd talk about the job scenario because, and using you as an example, you've gone from being a driver for a food company, and I'm still there. I'm in the warehouse part of it. And then you got pretty much headhunted to a degree to start another job. And we thought this is going to be really good. It is an office job. You are now pretty much shackled to your chair with a computer screen and doing bookings for the car industry.
Yep.
And it's been, you could say, very challenging, everyone. And that's why we thought we'd talk about this, because a lot of people out there is like, oh, I'm going to get a new job. I'm really excited. Can't wait. The last job was crapperoonie, and this one's just going to be just divine. And it doesn't always work out that way.
No. What we discussed was, Jayson and myself, is we did discuss about the fact that you never know a company, or you never know the industry or the work or the workload that you're going to be having until you actually get into the job. Everything may seem peaches and roses on the surface of like maybe the interview and the people that you talk to and the description on the job description on the website or on internet. However, you don't really know anything until you actually go into the job and really get a feel for what is going on. And that is any job. Some jobs out there might be absolutely amazing, and there are a lot of jobs that would have that. As soon as you walk into it, it will be actually amazing. But some jobs are not like that at all. Some jobs may appear to be amazing and then might turn out to be a crock of poo-poos afterwards. Yeah.
And same with me, the warehouse, because I went from the bakery, which was fast-paced, craziness, and then I got opportunity step into the warehouse, and it took me quite a few months to get a handle on it. And it was the same amount of speed and pressure, but just on a different level. So it's taken me now 7 months to get a handle on it, because I had to do a forklift license, and I still expect it to be fast, because even though the warehouse isn't crazy when it comes to speed like the bakery, but it still has its components of needing to have things done in a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And the day flies, and we're also looking after and taking in deliveries from all the departments there. So it's a really big job. So that's been my experience with that, but it has gotten a lot better, and I've become a lot closer to the team, and people there are really amazing. Where at the start was a little bit hard. So with any job, you get in there, it's like going back to, you've gone to school and you're going to like grade 1 to grade 2, and you're going to learn and make new friends, and you're going to do all that. It's really similar to a new job.
It is.
And that's why people stay at their jobs for many, many years.
That is true. It is very similar to going to a new school, because you've got to make new friends all over again, and people are aware of this. You're aware that you're going to have to, make new friends, and things are going to have to change. But if you're going from the same industry, sticking within the same industry, you're probably just going to need to make new friends pretty much, because you already have the skills and the knowledge if you stick into the same industry. But if you're changing from industry to different industries, I feel like that can be a bit more challenging because not only are you having to make new friends, but you have to learn a whole new subject all over again from scratch. And some things can be really easy. It depends on the person, I think, as well. Some things can be really easy to pick up and some things might take a bit of time to pick up. But I feel like it really does depend on the working environment if you do have that opportunity to be able to fully absorb what is going on.
Yeah, like with your job, you've gone from serving customers, driving, and being your own boss, not really micromanaged at all. The company that we work for, they don't do a lot of micromanagement.
No, not at all.
So, when you're there, as long as you get your stuff done, you're left alone. But with this new job, you are literally micromanaged every second.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
And because it's like your old job, but on steroids when it comes to computer work, and you're being really challenged and really struggling with that. And because you are very good on the computer, you thought it would be a breeze.
Yeah.
But
it's actually not. It's actually not a breeze at all.
What have I jumped into, everyone? What's going on?
It's not a breeze at all. Jayson has always said to me that I'm really good with computers and I never really wanted to accept it. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to accept I'm good with computers. And when I was looking for work, I didn't know what to look for and thought, okay, I'm going to accept being good with computers and possibly look into some office jobs as well, just to see what's out there. And I got approached and I wasn't too sure about it, but I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And anyone in the New Age spiritual community, you would think that this would be awesome because it came to me, everything fell right on the time that I was off. I had holidays and I could go for interviews and do all these things. And you would think that it actually was the appropriate thing for me. And when I was in the interview, they did say to me, it is an office job, obviously, but I did say to them, it just takes adjusting because everything's an adjustment. If you are standing on your feet, you adjust to sitting down. I realized I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
You're sitting down 7-8 hours a day.
It's hard. It really is hard. I know you can adjust to it. However, my back, and I've only been there for maybe a month and a half to 2 months or something along those lines. However, it is hard. It is hard to sit down. And the workload is a lot more than what I believed it was going to be. Even though they said it was going to take 2 to 3 months, and I thought, this is amazing. 2 to 3 months to get a handle on everything. However, being in it, it is very challenging. It is very challenging because there's always new information coming through. The processes are always changing. And just sitting down and looking at a computer screen and, like you said, pretty much being shackled to my chair. I don't go have lunch because I've just got too much work. Because I'm still learning, I'll just feel very overloaded with work and I don't go to lunch. And I do feel like I'm shackled to my chair that I can't leave. And
even
I'm
energetically,
stressed.
you can really feel like you need to get this done now.
Yeah. Energetically, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on having to be able to do things quickly. And I'm quick on the computer, but these people are quick. Like, they are super quick. And I don't know if I can be that quick. I'm sure it comes with time, but I feel like for me, sitting down, and I wanted a job where I could actually rest my body. And this is the funny thing, I got an office job to rest my body, but my body does not feel rested. My body feels worse than being a delivery driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're moving.
Yeah.
And you're in and out of the van and you're serving customers. So you got interaction there.
Yeah.
With people as well, because you are such a people person.
Yeah.
And you loved your customers and the interactions and the connections that you had. And you driving around.
Yeah, I love driving.
Free as a bird.
I absolutely love driving. Just driving when you've got, particular 5-minute increments to be at places, that's very challenging. I found that very challenging. But I love driving.
Yeah, if it was a little bit more low key and you're not needing to be somewhere within, a minute and a half and serve half a dozen customers.
And it's a 5 or 10 minute drive away.
Yeah. The expectation of it is crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying that this new job is very similar, but it's just sitting down.
Yes.
It's like now your brain is on overdrive.
Yeah, my brain, I get headaches a lot, which I never used to get. With the previous job, I would come home and I'd be completely done. Physically, mentally, because driving is a mental game. I'd be completely done. With this new job, I thought it was going to be really good because, like you said, I would come home, I'm still together, I'm still with it and everything. I come home now and I'm still with it, but I get headaches in the morning. I get headaches throughout the day. I'm pretty sure I had a headache yesterday morning as well. So looking at a computer screen all day is... I'm going to change that because we do edit and I look at a computer screen. I can sit for a whole day looking at the computer screen when we edit. But it's a very different experience when you're editing something that you're doing for yourself because you can get up and move around and grab a coffee, go stand outside and
jump in the treadmill.
Jump on the treadmill. You're not restricted by someone else's time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas doing an office job, you're restricted by someone else's time where I literally feel like I have no choice but to sit on my chair. Even though people say get up, move around, that's great. But I don't feel that.
Yeah. So I'm getting in the ethers. So the job is that you're doing is you're booking in through emailing and occasional phone calls to
to workshops.
Car accessories.
Yeah.
And your job is to book in.
Yeah.
And organise times and when they can be done, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
And dates and everything like that. So you would think that's pretty easy.
I would have thought it's pretty easy because I used to be in travel and I used to do bookings for travel as well. And that was a high volume job as well, constantly in a call center job. It was the first office job that I did and it was always ringing, constantly always ringing. And I got used to it. I was there for 4 years and you do get used to it. But you could only go as fast as to how fast you could quote, pretty much. So I don't believe back then there was, like right now at the moment, that everything is a KPI. I don't know what a KPI is, but it's something to do with something. I actually don't know what a KPI is, but you see it and you hear it everywhere, targets and KPIs. With this company, they have a KPI of having mail or emails in the inbox of 2 hours. So you have a 2-hour window, which is the KPI, to clear anything that's 2 hours or over. So for example, like you got an email and it's been there for 2 hours. You have to clear that out because that's the longest KPI that you can have. In the travel, I actually don't remember if there was anything like that because it was just rings.
It would have been something similar.
Maybe something similar, but there was just constant calling all the time. So you could only go as fast as what the calls would come through and as fast as what you could quote. And then after that, I went into standing jobs and moving jobs. And I've been in that for about 10 years. And now that I'm in a sit-down job, yeah.
So if you went into, you started a career sitting and then the whole career sitting, it wouldn't bother you?
No.
But because you've had an experience of sitting and moving around, running around, and now back to sitting, you're like, no. Because you're pretty hands-on as well.
I'm
a hands-on girl.
I'm more of a hands-on girl. And maybe I did this. I remember when I was looking for a new job, I was tired of driving around and I felt really, I'm going to say dusty only because it didn't feel nourishing. And I wanted something that I could wear nice clothes and I got all that, but it's not what it appears to be. Yeah.
Because this is a corporate setting.
Yeah.
Corporate setting.
Yeah.
So you have to look nice all the time, except for Fridays when you can just wear whatever you
It's
want.
just casual day on a Friday.
Don't
Yeah.
quite understand that when you're sitting behind the computer most of the day, not seeing anyone but emails.
I know, right? How bizarre is that? So in a corporate world, you're sitting behind a computer, but you've got to dress nice when you're not actually facing any customers.
No.
But in the customer-driven world, you don't have to, depending on the retail outlet or something like that, you've got a uniform, or you don't have to, you don't have to wear corporate clothes. So that's a very inverted thing to do.
Yeah.
Where you got to go to an office and wear office attire. And I want to put out, like, sometimes what I always, in the back of my head, and this is old programming, that you are only successful if you work in an office job, which is actually not true at all. If you do not work in an office job and you enjoy whatever else you're doing, then do that, because, yeah, what I've been getting is that energetically, is that you're only successful if you work in an office job, and that is so not true.
Yeah, Allison, you've made it big in the world. You're now sitting behind a computer in an office.
I know, right?
It's a corporate job. You have made it big. Yeah, but she's depressed, anxious, anxiety, sore butt, sore head, sore back.
Yeah, worse than what I was before.
Grand illusion.
We wanted, and I want to, but also Jayson wants to just put out there that sometimes what may seem amazing, and the thing is, no one will know whether it's amazing or not unless they take that step forward to do it. I thought it was something that I wanted to do because I was tired of where I was. However, possibly it was put on my path so that I could actually rediscover what it is that I actually do enjoy. And I don't enjoy sitting down. I enjoy moving around.
I think if the job offered you other things to do other than sitting all day, that'd be a good. So you need a bit of a balance. You can do computer work, you can do all that, sit down for a bit, but you need to get up and do other things as well, like other activities.
Yeah.
So you need more of a balance or mix it up type scenario.
Yeah.
Not just sit all day, every day for the rest of your life until you retire and then die.
Wow, that is depressing.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it fantastic?
That is very
So
depressing.
what we're trying to say, everyone, is go for your dreams.
Yes.
Do what feels right for you. Go and do that business. Go and do whatever it is. Do the what we call the 3D job, because we classify this as 3D.
Yeah.
3D
If you have
job.
to, you have to. But if you've got a dream and you want to chase a dream, do that too.
Yeah, and I'm getting that's going to be the bigger part of the conversation today. Is if you've got ideas or inspirations, start working on those till eventually they can pay off, so you can then leave office job or the driving job or whatever the job, working at McDonald's.
But the thing is, if you really love, so I have been in a very not great position personally, and Jayson can agree to that. He just said that I was very anxious and not feeling the greatest and feeling a bit depressed. So I have not been in the best state mentally or emotionally. Headspace. And I've been doing a lot of inner work and trying to figure out what it is that I enjoy. And I feel like that's really important, because this morning I was listening to a podcast that was interviewing a lady called Anita Morjani, and I've read her book, Dying to Be Me. That's it, Dying to Be Me. And it's a really interesting book, and I was very interested in what she had to say. And the key points that I took away from that is to live fearlessly, however that is for the person, to live fearlessly. And also that if we could actually see our energy, we would be able to see what we enjoy and what we don't enjoy, and what we say yes to, but we don't mean to say yes to because we feel obligated and all those kinds of things. If you could see your energy expand on the things that you enjoy, you'd want to do more of those things. Saying that, we also do live in a world where
It's a pay-to-play game.
it is a pay-to-play game, and you have to pay the bills to play in this game.
A lot of experiences will cost you something financially to do. Unless you're walking in a park, at this stage you don't have to pay for that. No. But who knows, everyone? They might tax you for walking in a park.
Although we did watch something on YouTube about Bali, and the guy said there was a beach club, and he goes, "It's free," and I'm like, "You have to pay in other beach clubs to get into?" I was like, that shocked me.
That was Dubai.
No, but that was in Bali that we were just watching.
Oh.
Yeah. In one of the scenes, he said that they went to a beach club, and he goes, "Yeah, you can order a drink, you can eat, or you can just come and sit because it's free." And I'm like, what do you mean it's free? It should be free anyway.
Yeah. Then we watched another video in Dubai of the best famous hotel, motel, whatever, and you had to pay to sit in a chair.
Yeah, you had to pay to sit on a sun chair. You could go in. I'm surprised they don't charge to go into the pools. Actually, no, I think they do charge.
I think they did.
They do charge to go into the pools.
Yeah.
So in that little story, go to Bali instead because you've got swim-up pools. But that's kind of going off topic.
Can I just say what's coming to mind is when I was a student and my teachers brought in one of her best friends who was a teacher as well.
Yeah.
And doing reads and everything for us. And she made a comment, "Oh, we're lucky today." This is going back 20 years ago. We're lucky today they're not making us pay to breathe air.
And they wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, get taxed for breathing how much air that you're breathing or...
Total Recall,
Yeah.
they had to pay for air
Yeah.
in the original one.
Yeah, there you go.
On Mars, though.
Yeah, it was Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to our story, do what makes you happy.
Be your authentic self.
And that was the other thing that she did speak about was because in her story she had a near-death experience, she did come back and said that you have to be your authentic self. Sometimes it can be a bit hard in this world to be your authentic self, but I feel like after listening to her and going through my own stuff, I realized that working in an office job is not what it appears to be. And if I enjoy being anything, doesn't matter what it is, if I enjoy it, then that is the best course. And that's for everyone else as well. Regardless of what people tell you.
Or what's expected of you.
If you enjoy what you're doing, then that's what you need to be doing.
Regardless of what it is.
It doesn't matter. You could be a garbage person. If you enjoy getting up in the morning and there's no one in the road and that's what you enjoy because you're free and you're sitting by yourself and that's what you love, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
Regardless if someone says to you that's not a job, that is a job.
Yeah, because you're getting to the nitty-gritty of different jobs gives you people having a different perception of you. It's like, oh, I'm a doctor. It's like, oh, you're a doctor. Oh, geez, you've made it. Or you're a psychiatrist or an accountant or whatever it is. Like, oh, geez, they're doing well. They're happy and But for everybody else that doesn't want to do that, being a garbage man, it's like, well, geez, you're a loser.
Yeah. So this has really shown me that it doesn't matter what you do and other people's perceptions of you. I know it's easy for me to say, but it wasn't so easy for me to say to begin with. It shouldn't matter, but sometimes it does matter. I
think at the start you were playing out your parents' perception of if you're in an office, you've made it.
Yeah.
You finally made it. It's like, oh, my little girl has made it big. She's now working in an office. It's the best thing she could ever do. She's got security, money. The money for what you're doing is also crapperoony. We thought it was going to be, I was like, oh, that's not bad. It's okay. It's better than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they should be paying you more, another 20 grand more for the stress.
For the stress that I'm under and the stress that I feel and the sadness that I feel when I come home.
Yeah.
No. It's not worth the money.
No.
Not at all. No job. You should not be working in a job if it makes you feel terrible. You said something today about it's long gone are the jobs where you feel that you hate and you have to stay there for 20, 30 odd years or something along those lines. No, not anymore.
No, things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare for people to stay in a job for 20 years, 30 years anyway.
Well, now it is, yeah.
And I was just getting with me, I lasted 12 months in the bakery. I'm coming up to 12 months in the warehouse in October. I'm going to see how that goes because unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff always playing out. The uncertainty and that type of thing. And it's always topsy-turvy. don't really appreciate that. That's why I've built connections with people. So I finally built connections with people in the warehouse. In another podcast, I talked about how it was really challenging and hard, but it's only taken me 7 months to build connections and friendships.
Yeah.
And to become part of this team and more of a team than I believed before. That's my perception. The manager might perceive it differently, but my perception is a bit more of a team and working more together. There's a little bit more chatty intimacy with people and supporting each other. I didn't see that before. So that's been great, but we'll see if I last 12 months as well. It seems to be maybe a theme for me every 12 months or 2 years moving on. And unfortunately, the money of what I'm doing is just bad money. It's really, really disgusting, the money. So my self-worth has gone a lot more than, like, say, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In just a 3D job.
Yeah.
So I should be on a lot more money for what I'm doing and
Yeah.
responsibilities and all that type of thing. And unfortunately, this place doesn't really perceive it to be, I don't know what you would say, high quality job or that important or that much responsibility. I don't know. I don't quite understand how the perception of the hierarchy works there. It needs to be reworked because every department is a very important department. If one fails and everything else fails.
Yeah.
It's the same with your job, any job. If that person or that part of the job or department doesn't work or falls apart, that's going to play havoc on the rest of the company.
Yeah.
So I think these company directors or management need to sort of start looking at everybody is in a team, and every team or every department is important. And without one, you can't have the others work.
Yeah.
So, but that's these days. I think everybody's in survival and money survival more than ever before. And there's so much drama and stress is happening with what's playing out around the world and all the financial stuff. And I think everybody's just trying to grab the money or the coin or the dollar. And so there's a lot of fear component to that as well.
Yeah. We thought that my new position was going to be a lot like Jayson's when he first started at the bakery. However, because yours was very stressful. However, saying that, I don't want to put up with that stress.
Yeah. But see, that's a thing. So my pathway or learning's been a lot different than yours, where I felt like I had to stay for 12 months in the bakery and not knowing there was going to be an opportunity coming up for another department. So on a level, I must have known there was something coming in, but I didn't think it was in the same place. So it's like, okay, it's a new thing, get a new tools, new toolbox, whatever it is, and new experiences. Jumped into that, which is still hardcore like no tomorrow. But it is a little bit more laid back and a lot more freedom because you're not sort of micromanaged so much like in the bakery. But the bakery you had to because it's just it has to be a fine oiled machine.
Yeah, it has to be because everything has a process to it.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So I've been helping out the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And even I was watching people and going, well, this needs to be done this way and why, you know what I mean? I found myself needing to micromanage people. And so I've come through the other end, which is interesting, and understood, well, that does need to be micromanaged because if it's not, they're going to get home at 10 o'clock at night. That was interesting in my own mind when I went in there for 2 days, and because I know I have a really good idea what I'm doing, I just jump back into it. But for somebody that doesn't know, understand, is learning, it's very, very challenging and very scary.
Yeah, well, I understand the reason for micromanaging, even with this new company, because they have processes put in place. And I understand that you have to follow the processes. So I do understand the micromanaging. I guess for me now, it's understanding what I want to do now.
So how many people in your team? Well, just your team's at 20?
No. So there's 3 bookings teams. Mine has 5.
Okay, so let's say 100 emails each. That's 500 emails a day to get through and book in.
No, it's not like you have maybe about, I don't know how many bookings. So what happens is you get maybe a few bookings. At the moment, I've got 3 bookings, and that happens at 10, 12, 2, and supposedly at 4. In between that, you got to do follow-ups. What they call follow-ups which is emails, which you're emailing or contacting the dealership to find out when the vehicles are arriving. And in between that, you also got to check the emails over for any responses from the previous follow-ups from the previous days. So it's a juggling of between making bookings and also emailing and contacting dealerships for any responses and also going through all your emails. It doesn't sound so busy the way I'm talking about it, but the workload is very, very busy.
Well, if you're getting home late or staying back late, not eating lunch, having any breaks, then if that's not busy, I don't know what is.
So what I've only just started eating breakfast because it's pretty much the only meal I have.
Yep.
I skip my lunches because I want to get ahead so that I can catch up by the end of the day. And then majority of the time I'm back half an hour later just so that I can clean up everything in my own emails.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me
It's meant to be a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, actual reality, it's not at the start.
At the start, no.
Maybe if you've been there for 12 months.
I don't know why I'm there. I know I'm probably there because of what I wanted to experience. I wanted to experience wearing nice clothes. I wanted a place that was cleaner. I didn't want to move around so much. I didn't want to be so stressed out in trying to get to a stop in 1 minute and it could be 10 minutes or 5 minutes away. I just didn't want to have that kind of stress. So a lot of the creation of this job, well, I didn't know it was going to be this job, but a lot of the creation of a job like that is partly on me because it is something that I'll put out to experience. Like those were the things that I wanted to experience. And we also did specify something that I don't mind going to. That is not the place.
Yeah.
That is not the place because it is hard to try and make friends there for some odd reason. And I don't know.
Well, it's a different culture.
It is very different culture.
Yeah, and you don't have time to interact. So there's not. With me in the warehouse, I've got people that I have to interact with.
Yeah.
Because we're not on the computer screens all day. We have to literally communicate. So this job I'm in, a lot of it is communication and connection with everyone around us because you have to know what's going on, what needs to be done. When we've got deliveries coming, like there's no tomorrows, you've got truck drivers, you've got forklift scenarios planning out, you've got department managers coming out. I mean, it's nothing but communication and connection with people and learning to work in a team and everything like that. But yours is more of a one person, one computer, your work. There's no space for really interacting with everybody around you.
The only thing that they do put into place is that if you feel like you can't do your follow-ups, and they'll take like 10, lots of 10 away from you so you can actually get all the work done. But you need to know that you need to approach your team leader to say, I don't feel like I can get this done. That's on the physical level. We're talking about on the energetic level because I feel and understand things differently. So even though they say physically, come to me, the expectation that I feel is you need to finish this work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it works differently. Jayson always tells me, you always say to me, we'll work on the physical because they don't understand what's going on energetically. No. They have no clue what's going on energetically. So I can't go to them. I can't pretend that I can do it if I can't do it. So I do need to approach them. But I do feel the expectation of having to do things by myself. Even though that was something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be able to do something like, I can do this. This is also teaching me that there's a possibility I can't do everything.
It is a possibility that you can't do everything. And I said to you, with this particular job, it's going to take a lot of time before you can master it, feel comfortable. But by that time frame, is your body going to be able to be okay? Is it your head? I mean, there's so much more levels involved with that. And you're just going to go into a depression of, something I just have to do. Yeah,
exactly.
Or do you start to re-look, which you are doing, to find something that might be more suited?
I get what you're saying. Is it something that I'm going to be stubborn at and go, no, I can do this, and it's causing detriment to me?
In the future.
Yeah.
And you won't know. And when you come out the other side, either you stay there or you find something else. When you come out through the other side, like I did with the bakery, the massive amount of learning and expansion that you will have an understanding of will be phenomenal. And so anybody out there that is doing this or going through this, just remember when you do come out through the other side, there will be something profound, or you will understand that has expanded you or helped you develop as a person, or new skills or new tools or even new connections with people.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's a lot of the time. It doesn't feel like it for me, but I do know that when I leave, I will have a greater understanding of something.
You're going to have a greater understanding of you.
Yeah. That's probably the best thing to have, is a greater understanding of self.
In a way, I'm getting this conversation is to help people who are now looking, if people are looking for jobs or in a job they've been there for a long time or not, and they're looking for something else. You just never know what it's going to be like until you're in it.
Yeah. And that's true.
Even if you follow your intuition and you go into it and your intuition's like, yes, you might end up into a shit show.
That's true. And we're not saying this to be scared of looking or trying to find a new job. We're just saying it's not always amazing, but sometimes it is amazing.
Or is it that you have to be the best you can to be neutral?
Well, I was neutral when I started looking for a job. I was in a good place. I was, and my time had come up. Not saying that they were pushing me out. It was just that there was a time frame for me to be at the old workplace.
But people still ask for you all the time there.
Yeah.
You weren't ever going to be pushed out or fired because everybody loved you there.
Yeah, there was a time frame. There's always time frames for people. Some people have a time frame of their entire life. Some people have a time frame of 4 years, 6 months, 1 month, whatever the time frame is. Everyone has a different time frame. My time frame working at that company had come to an end, and I started looking, but not out of needing to look. I just started looking. And like I said, everything worked out and we all thought it was going to be, awesome. It didn't turn out to be awesome, and it does take an adjustment period. But I think for me, the sitting down and the stress levels and feeling stressed when I come home is not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And saying that, sometimes what can happen on an energetic level is that, and it's interesting, we do listen to a couple of readings online on YouTube and stuff like that. And one of the readings from one of the YouTubers for Scorpio did say that there are people out there that possibly could be doing things behind the scenes to stop you from moving forward.
Or hinder
you from moving forward. And sometimes, and people don't always know that or are not aware of that it could also be someone else that is hindering that person too.
Yeah, so that's what we're feeling is happening at the moment backstage. There's some hoo-has going on, and we've actually booked in a healing with somebody in America that we've been getting healings from off and on for about 10 years. He's very good. So we thought about that because we don't know it all.
No.
So somebody else that has a different level, different perception, and a different toolbox. So looking at doing that just to see if there's any hoo-has behind the scenes, making it a bit more challenging, or is it just a part of you that is needing the experience?
Yeah, exactly. Because I applied for a new job yesterday, and the interesting thing is whenever I apply for a new job, I feel this pullback or this it's like you can't look for you. Don't do it. Don't. It's like a pullback.
And I get the same as well.
And Jayson gets the same feeling as well. And it could be me. It could be what people call higher self, all expanded self. I don't know. Soul expression. Who knows? Oversoul. However, when I do talk about different jobs to Jayson, I feel a certain two people in the background, and I realize that is not me. That is an old program that I'm feeling or sensing. And maybe some of you might be able to do that as well. If you're talking about something, it might not be looking for a new job. It could be anything that you're trying to change or the next step in your evolution. However, you feel like there's something holding you back, and you pick up something like in the background, like maybe in the back of your head or background kind of thing.
Subconscious reprogramming. It's subconscious programming.
And if you pick up certain people back there, it's a possibility that there's subconscious programming going on there too.
Like your parents, for example, who program you, their beliefs, their belief system, what kind of job you should have, what's best for you.
Yeah.
They know it all. So you should do as you're told and do whatever they think that you should do because they know it all, even though they're the last generation and things have changed and shifted so much and so fast. If they ended up back in the workforce, they'd probably have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And think, well, the office job isn't the best job anymore.
That's exactly it.
And so if you have that programming in you, which most people would from when they're little kids, because that's what happens, it's up to you to go, well, what's best for me, not what everything else perceives to be the best for me. And that's what you're working through at the moment.
Yeah.
What's best for Allison? What you feel is going to work better for you than not.
Yeah. And that can be anything. It can be work. It could be, I've got relationship. It could be anything. If someone feels like you need to follow their instructions because they believe they know better, I mean, hey, they may have some knowledge and wisdom.
And a perception that might be helpful.
Yeah, in their experiences. But that's their experiences. And you can take the advice and use it in a way that will work for you. Or if you feel like it's a different situation and you feel like, no, what they're saying is not true for you, then don't use it. But use your own use your own intuition. So like Jayson said, it could be parents where they feel like they know everything and they know what's better for you, but they work in a different generation.
Yeah. And things have changed really quickly. And from now and another couple of years, with the AI tech coming into the planet, it's going to change again.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of jobs that I see this particular job an AI system could do.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Let's say going back to the parenting, if it's the parenting, they could be running on fear of what their generation had to go through.
So you got all that on the plate as well. So it's up to us to sift through all that and feel into what's best for us.
And if you don't want to be a doctor and you want to be
an artist
and your parents are saying that you need to be a doctor, then you do. Yeah. We all need to have that kind of bravery and that courage to stand up and say no.
And a lot of people, like the doctor's a good one, yes, my parents expect me to be a doctor because my whole family's full of doctors, but I want to be an artist or an actor or something like that. And my heart's calling to be that. But I'll do the uni and I'll spend $100,000 being a doctor and I'll do the doctor. And you'll find that a lot of people will do that. Will just, no, I can't do that anymore. I'm going to go back and actually do what I really want to do.
And I think that comes down to what Anita Morjani was saying this morning, that I feel like even if you can't see your energy, people know what makes them happy. So, for example, like you said with the doctor, you like, my heart is set on being an actor or a YouTuber to travel the world and document things or be an artist, something completely opposite of what a doctor is. And you say yes, but you actually mean no. Your energy is not going to expand with knowledge, appreciation, love, acceptance of self. It's actually going to be squashed because now you're taking on the energy of someone else and not being your true self.
Yeah. I'm just getting flashbacks of me stepping to be a healer. And I had so many people say, mate, what are you doing? And that's a no-end job and you're just fluffing in the air. And like I got criticised so much from my family. They thought I just lost my marbles. I had my brother sit down on my couch in my house and just spend a half an hour just swearing at me and calling me a loser. And I'm like, just looked at him and went, so if I don't make it so, it's what my heart wants to do. I have something in me that's a calling. It's something I really need to experience. And I feel that I'm going to be one of the best healers out there. And I've been healing for over 20 years.
And you are one of the best healers, in my opinion.
I've done really well. I've done full-time work as a healer, but that comes and goes, and that's okay. But if I listened to everybody else, I wouldn't even tried. And the amount of people I've helped along the way, done healings on thousands of people, and made a difference in their lives. Because that to me, on that couch with my brother many moons ago, that was so degrading, disrespectful. And I was like, I've got to thank that person now, because it really motivated me to really step my game up. As well, that can help you springboard you as well, because you just then go, well, I really do want to do this. If they're saying no, it's not good, maybe it is good and it is something that you need to step into. And the moment you fail is the moment you don't try. That's when you fail. You just keep trying, putting out there, like what we're doing with our YouTubes and our podcasts. We just keep going and going and going and going. Eventually it will happen. And if it doesn't, who cares? We've given it a really big crack.
You reminded me of one of my scenarios as well. I used to work in fashion. I used to work in bridal, and I used to work with one of the best fashion houses in bridal as well. I had a blast. It was awesome. I made some really amazing friends. But it got to a point where the company, all of a sudden the company turned out like wasn't doing really good, and things had just shifted, and I felt like it was my time to leave. And I followed at that point in time my intuition about being a barista or doing like a coffee license and learning about coffee and frothing coffee and stuff along those lines. And it was only for a weekend, but the teacher, he made a point of getting my number. I mean, I was really bad at frothing coffee, really bad. And he made a point of getting my number because he said he could help me. I don't think it ever actually happened, but it was just a really nice gesture. Out of everyone out there, he was like, okay, let me, give me your number. I'll see what I can do kind of thing for you. And I actually luckily I was still living with my parents, and I quit my job so that I didn't need to pay rent or anything. So I was able to quit my job straight away. And if I didn't do that, and it was interesting, if I didn't do that, I would not have followed my gut intuition. I don't even know how this happened. I think maybe the teacher told me that there was a coffee place near where I was working, which is the bakery, near where I was working, and they were looking for someone. So I went in and I applied for it, and I knew I was going to get the job regardless of whether they interviewed anyone else. I knew I was going to get the job, and I got the job. And I realized that was the first thing that led me. Yes, I kicked and screamed about because I wanted to sit and be like the customers. But I look back at it now, that was the first job, the first standing job that I ever did, which was the first job that I realize now that led me on a path of enjoying moving around. And I loved making coffee so much. It would have been nice to continue, but I decided I wanted to be a tour guide instead. So, that's a different kind of story. But going back to being a barista and working in a cafe, there was one incident where I was invited to an Indian wedding, and I had a sari from when I went to India, and I needed to know how to put it on. My mum invited her Indian friend to come over because at that stage I had moved out of the home. So I had to go back to my parents' place, which was around the corner anyway. And she asked her Indian work colleague to come and teach me how to put a sari on. And then I realised at that stage that my mum had not told her work colleagues that I had moved on from a fashion house, a design fashion house, into a bakery.
Yeah, because it's a lower class job.
Because it was a lower class job. I had been working at the bakery for 2 years and she never told anyone that I moved on. So, yeah, if anyone degrades you like that, like your brother or my mother, just don't worry about it.
No.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Be the authentic you and be true to you. And because it's your path, your journey, yeah?
Yeah.
It's your life.
Yeah.
People can't do it for you. So you need to have the courage and put on your big boy pants and your big girl panties and just get it done and just get out there and do it. If it doesn't work, you gave it a good go.
Yeah.
A lot of the billionaires out there, they failed and went bankrupt so many times It just made them stronger. It made them all wiser. It was a really big learning curve for them, and they learned from it. So they do have empires. Some of them do have empires. Some of them don't, but a lot of them do. And it's the same for everybody else. You just got to keep doing it and keep following your heart.
But yeah, if you're not enjoying it, then you need to rethink what you do enjoy.
Especially when it comes down to a normal job where you're just getting by.
Yeah.
I mean, the inflation all over the world is just getting so out of control. I was talking to one of the drivers the other day and we were talking about this. And she said to me, it's getting so bad with inflation, my job's not going to be able to pay for me just to live basically. What are we going to do then? I said, I don't know. I said, that's why I have side hustles. So if anything does do the stuff that Allison and I are doing, it will generate money so that will support us. If not, it will allow us and help us step into full time and make a lot of money from that eventually with whatever we're doing, whatever projects. But we never stop because a normal job may not be able to pay your way. So you're right. You've really got to really stay true to you and be your authentic self and not let your friends and your family and society dictate to you what is best for you.
Yes.
And maybe that is the golden nugget that people need to hear with this particular conversation. And we were just talking about our experiences in jobs. So your inspiration of what you're learning now will help others who are listening and watching this.
And hopefully I have some clarity and understanding because I know what I need to do and I'm doing it. But I'm like everyone else. I feel that urgency to get out too. Yeah. And like you always say, it's you've got to be patient. But sometimes when you're patient and you...
Yeah.
Okay, baby. Do you want to see if the soul group is here and would like to say a few things?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I have no idea.
Is there anything you want to say before you connect with them?
All I want to say is it's been a really interesting conversation and it's been a little bit more detailed than I thought. And there is a lot of gold nuggets out there for people who are watching or listening to this if they're going through a transition of a job or whatever it is in their lives. I'm hoping and put out there the intention is that it will be very helpful.
If you don't enjoy your job, I just want to put this out there. If you don't enjoy your job and you start to ask, what is it that you don't enjoy? Because when I started this job, I pretty much wanted to jump out straight away and I couldn't. And now looking back on it, I think I am actually very grateful that I couldn't jump out straight away because now I am starting to discover what it is I actually do enjoy.
So what you're saying is maybe you need to stick it out for a bit?
If they can.
Yep.
Or if not say stick it out for a bit, what I'm saying is that if you're not enjoying it, maybe question what it is that you do enjoy and then maybe approach it from that angle. Not saying to stick it out because if they don't enjoy it and it's not good and it's a situation or an environment that could be toxic, don't stick it out. However, I wanted to jump ship straight away, but I couldn't because Jayson kept saying that he kept feeling that, he kept saying to me, I don't think you're going to get a job as easy as usual because I feel like you're going to have to be there. Thinking about it now, you're probably right because I needed to understand what it is that I enjoy in a job. If I have to work a job before we can jump into what we do full time, if I have to work a job, I had to discover what it is that I really enjoy. But I still want to be able to talk to the soul group.
Yeah. Yes, we are here back again. Thank you for having us. Another interesting conversation, and it is a great topic you have both chosen for today. As Allison goes through her trials and tribulation of this new job, and as Jayson has discussed his adventures with his job, This is very helpful to others who are or whom are listening and watching this conversation. It is also very true to stay to your authentic selves. Listen to your hearts and your intuition on your path journey. Indeed, it is such a grand adventure for all of you to step into so many different characters, and each character or each job that you step into has opportunities and learnings to help expand you beyond your imagination. Also, the tools that you learn about yourselves along the way, that is one of the most important things that you will discover when it comes to stepping into a new environment, new people, a new job, a new lifestyle. And it also comes down to the choices that fit you as well. And as your discussion before on programming, many of you will choose not to be in your authentic selves or trust your intuition because you do, or most of you do have programming from your families, friends and society, and it is up to you all to defuse and reprogram yourselves not to have that program so you can fulfill yourselves on how you see fit. Is there any questions, Allison, that you would like to ask us?
There's a few questions. I feel at the moment I do want to ask you the question of why I'm here, but I'll keep that and hopefully remember that later. But I do want to ask a question for everyone else is, what can they do to discover their true authentic self?
By listening to yourselves, putting away the mind chatter or the expectation of what let's use your parents, for example, people's parents, for example, them saying they would love you to be a doctor or a lawyer or an astronaut, and you are desiring, your heart's desire, even down to your mission, is to do something completely different. You going against your own grain and listening to what you perceive of your family or society knowing better than you and even knowing you better. This is up to you to walk that path of self-discovery, to know what you feel is best for you and know that there is no rights or wrongs. It is about your choosing your choices because you are the Indiana Jones, the adventurer on your own pathway. You could say there's no one else that can do this for you other than you. Yes, we are not saying not to take advice or wisdom from your loved ones, but at the end of the day, it is always your choice. And a lot of the time, most of you will do what you feel is the best from your family, let's say. In an actual fact, it is not. So it's up to you all to take courage of stepping forward into something that may or may not be successful. And that is part of the journey or your pathway whilst you are here in this magnificent game arena at Indiana Jones Adventurer Storybook. This is helpful.
It is helpful. And I feel like I want to ask a question, I feel like maybe for myself and for everyone else, is that if they end up in a job that they thought was going to be better than where they are now and they realize that it's not, I feel like, I know for me personally, and if I feel it, then there's a lot of other people out there that feel it as well, that they feel like they have to stay there for at least a year because it looks good on the resume. But I feel like if it's not something that if they realize that it's not something, it's not for them, let's just say it's not for them, they shouldn't have to feel obligated to stay a year just because it looks good on the resume.
Well, that again is up to the individual. You'll find if you're at a place, a job that you do not like, there is something for you to learn within yourself. That job, or you could say that stage, is set up for you to go through an expansion or a learning about yourself, and for you to gather perhaps new tools that may help you in the future endeavors. We say this, our friend Allison, and to all of you listening and watching, there's no right or no wrong. It's always up to you, the adventurous spirit, to do what feels right for you. Discard the 12 months of being put onto your resumes to find a better job. That is either here or there. At the end of the day, it is about your experiences, about what you need to learn, how much you have learnt from a particular job, or even down to the people within the job, and also what it is they are reflecting back to you that you may need to look at as well. Even if you perceive it not to be an aspect of you, you may find there is something, a little gold nugget, let's say, that is there for you to look at, for you to progress and move forward, that will help you be even more expanded within the now moment. It is you all that judge yourselves and put very much high expectations on yourselves to be a certain level of human being or a success story. It is not anything to do with that at all. It is about growth, expansion, knowing and learning about yourselves, being the best you can in any given moment. You will find that everything else is based on a society ego or expectation. And it's up to you all to let go of that and stay true to your authentic selves. But as also we must say, it is not always beneficial to jump off the boat if it gets too rocky, because sometimes you may need to experience the rockiness or the big waves for you to expand. And this is one of the most important things, because expansion is starting to understand and know yourselves. This is, of course, only our perception, because we are not playing the human character within your game arenas, or even our own game arenas as a human being. Yet most of us have been humans having a human experience within this soul group, so we do have a knowledge and a wisdom when it comes to what we are saying. Not just say this in theory, say this as a practical being we've had to be, as you are all playing this out too within your stage of life. Is this helpful?
Yes, I believe it is. Thank you very much. My next question is, would you happen to know, because I've given my experience of my job and this has been the main topic of it, would you happen to know the reason why I'm there? I know I've been partly the creator of it because of what I wanted to experience. However, I feel like I got more so than what I wanted to experience. And at some level, I do also feel like there's other people involved in the experience only because of what I've been told by a certain person. And I'm starting to understand that I can't live through their life anymore.
And this has been one of the biggest gifts you've ever been given before, is you are now on so many more levels understanding you can only be true to you. And this job, Allison, has given you so many gifts to understand within yourself, to a point where you are now prepared to break away that very old programming from your family and society. It is now, only now, that you completely understand what serves you and what does not serve you. We feel that if we could use the analogy of the ship, you have been in a large storm with large waves and you've had to hold on tight. And yes, jumping off the ship would be beneficial on a level. Yet a part of your spirit, your essence, has needed this experience to help it understand and break through this old family program. And that is the ego.
Because I do feel when and Jayson has experienced this as well, but for me, I do feel that when I look at other jobs that are not part of the programming, I do feel the ego coming in and you could say turn its nose up at these other jobs because it is not, let's say, an office job, because the office job is considered the high job.
Yes, indeed. It's a very interweaved, entangled program indeed. There's a part of you that wants to, you may disagree with us or not, but have your parents proud and accepting of you. And a part of you did manifest this. And yes, you did have help through a prayer to help manifest this more quickly and efficiently. We feel to say to you, this has been one of the best learning experiences that you've had for quite a while. And when you come out on the other side, when it is the right time, that you will be more evolved than not. And we say to you, with your search or seeking for something else, please be patient. It is there for you. It will be like a curveball that comes out of nowhere. But until then, just sit pretty and do what you need to do to get by. But at the end of it, when you come out the other side, there will be much appreciation and inner wisdom and knowledge that you will be able to take with you in your toolbox for years to come. Just as Jayson has had to go through his experience and move through the other side to have a different level of perception and understanding and wisdom within himself, you are on also a similar pathway, our dear friend Allison.
I do understand that, but it can be very challenging because I have anxiety every time I go there.
The anxiety is that you are not good enough and you are not worthy of stepping to that vibration of being good enough for this job arena. As you've been told many times before, we are counting the times Jayson has spoke to you about this and we cannot count past 100. That in time you will master this, and unfortunately a part of your ego is ahead of the game where it wants to master it now. But not all things can be mastered in 1 second.
No, I do understand that, but I do also feel that from the company as well, that I need to be able to master things because there's so much more that they want to show me to be able to completely understand my job. So I do understand that I can't master everything, but I think it's because I feel like I'm expected to know what I know now, because I do know that I'm very quick on the computer, but I also know that what they do is extremely quick and I don't know if I can catch up.
Of course you cannot play catch up now, or you should feel expected to, even though the expectation is there for you to master the job role before you even arrived now. And you are feeling the pressure and the anxiety of that, and the expectation is massive, and you feel that you can't do this expectation. But you have been doing this expectation your whole life with your family, and now you're coming to a point where you do not want to have that massive expectation put upon you. And this is the other part of the program that you are learning to let go of, and the expectation of you to be at a certain level in a certain time frame. If you see this quite clearly, it is all your expectation upon you, with you being successful in your endeavors and projects as well.
Then wouldn't it be more successful for me to not jump ship, but find something that makes me expand, that I enjoy to do.
Of course indeed. But whilst you're in this job, you are now going to be asked, as we are going to be saying this to you now, to let go of expectations of yourselves and just be your authentic selves. Your authentic self. If you can only do a certain amount of work, then you need to express to your commanders and chiefs, no tongue in cheek and pundit, to let them know that you cannot be at that level at this stage of the game, even though the expectation is there. And that's what you're picking up behind the scenes with the expectation, and you being the good girl that you have been trained to be is trying to be the good girl with the parents. The company is still playing out that old programming.
Which is interesting, because I talked to Jayson about this, and it's interesting that you use the analogy of the ship and the rocky waves, because I don't want to create waves, even though I'd created a wave with my team leader in the first few weeks I was there.
Indeed, because you were speaking out on behalf of your inner child, saying enough's enough. Because also you've had to do the inner child work as well, and the inner child is the captain of your boat, while you, the adult, has allowed that to play out because you don't know any better but to be the inner child when it comes to heartache and pain and the perception of you not being a good girl. So all this is all playing out within you, creating anxiety, pain and stress, headaches, fatigue, even to a point where you're not even in your body most of the time. This is not you, the adult. This is you, the inner little you. Even though you had a dream not long ago where the little you was stronger than the bigger you.
That's very true.
So even with that, you are still learning to know yourself, and it comes across that many parts of you, including your little one, is stronger than what you think. We understand what you would like us to say, that you have been hoodwinked and traumatized by outside forces and hoo-has playing out around you, stopping you from being your authentic self and being the true you. And if this is the case, then you need to step up to the plate and to step into your strength and your power like you have never stepped into your power or strength before, because that's who you are. And you haven't learnt to understand that's who you are. You're still playing the lesser one, playing the victim on many levels. You are not a victim. You are a very powerful being. Otherwise, you would not be here sitting with us, having these conversations. You wouldn't have created what you've created thus far if you were that. So you don't give yourself enough credit.
And I do understand that I'm playing out a lot of old programming, because as we're talking, I do get to be able to stand up and specify that I can only do so much that I can do. And then I hear in the background of my own psyche that I'm scared of creating waves of being fired, which is, again, I take back to my inner child and my parents, that if I do something that is not approved, then love is going to be taken away. And I do understand all that. I just, it is a bit to try and break through.
It's just coming into alignment with different aspects of yourself which are traumatized and programmed. And as you unprogram yourself and reprogram yourself, you're still coming into alignment. And that is taking more than just a moment. You're like society, Allison. You're like everything else. Everything needs to be done now. And not all things can be done now, because the part of the human experience is about time and taking time to learn and to experience. Not all things can be accomplished in a moment or a second in your linear time. So you are learning to be patient with yourself. So let's say this, the company that you work for who is impatient with you and wanting you to step up to the plate now, that is you playing out yourself, reflecting back to you. So it is you playing out through your the company you work for is actually you playing out to give you a hard time. So that's how hard you are on yourself. And we understand that you're working on self-love. That is not self-love.
No.
If you're creating that part of yourself on a bigger stage, directing that back to you. So maybe you need to take a load off. And I know that's been told to you before.
Yes.
And stop trying to give us a moment just to rethink what we say here. We feel this can get quite complicated. We need to keep it simplified for you. If everything is a mirror, then this is a mirror for you to look at.
Then the best way for me to love myself is to allow me to take it easy and allow myself to understand at my own process, and my own way of understanding things may not be as quick as everyone else.
Again, we will tell you that what you have been told before, you've been there for 5 minutes.
I do understand. No, I do understand.
And the company that you work for understands that, but they are pushing you because, as you also been told before, they see you as a potential to be very good at what you do. And they're pushing you because you can do what they perceive you to do, because you would not been hired for the position.
But can I explain to you what they do?
We already know what they do. We are inside Jayson's consciousness and in your conversations.
It takes them 2 minutes to send an email, and I know this sounds strange, and I'm so sorry to everyone else that has to listen to this. But I don't get it. I really don't get how, and I understand that they've been there longer, and I understand that with time you do get quicker and quicker. But I guess right now, I just don't get it.
Okay, let us very much simplify this for you. When you first started filming and editing, many, many years ago, you took a very long time to film and edit and get the right lighting and get this. Even to this day, you are still striving for perfection. And this is many years that's gone by. And with your editing, it's taken you or took you triple the time to be able to edit a video, let's say. And now it takes you half the time or the third of the time. And that took more than just a moment.
But we're working for ourselves here.
Yet it is no different on many levels. What we are saying is it took time. You have to work on, Allison. We would love to call you Dear One, Allison, because that's how your energetics is playing out to us. You have to learn to voice yourself to say, I cannot do this, even though the expectation is to do this. And when you come to feeling anxious and full of anxiety, perhaps you need to feel and be in that vibrational frequency and own it and ask, what is really going on within me? What is really triggering me? Because it is not the job or the company. That is just the tool that is bringing up to be resurfaced, to be looked at. And all we see and perceive of your auric field is you jumping off the ship without even a life jacket.
That is very true right now.
So you've been told by Jayson, leave the job, have no job, we have savings.
But I don't want to do that.
No, because you are not meant to jump ship until the next ship comes your way.
Yes, I do know that. I know at least that.
This is bigger than what you think it is, or even feel or intellectualize. It is not about the job on any level. It is about what's triggering and what needs to come up to be looked at, to be healed and let go of. Then things will shift.
Okay.
See this job as a mirror of you, your deep subconscious beliefs and programming. That is the key here. And for all of you who are listening and who are aligning to this conversation, please do the same.
So I have a high expectation of myself.
Indeed.
I have a very extreme high expectation of myself, almost to the point of perfectionism.
Indeed. And this is part of the ego personal development that you will need to look at. Not to say, not to strive to be the best that you can be at all. We are not saying this at all. But it will come to a level where it will be detrimental to your health and your mental capacity.
Because I'm putting myself up against, without even, and it's got nothing to do with anyone else at the company, I'm actually pinning myself up against other people and comparing myself to other people.
Indeed. It's like you go run a marathon with a person that's been doing marathons for many, many years and you expect to win the race. That's very fanciful and very hilarious, is it not?
It is when you put it that way, which I can understand. If you were the coach, you cannot expect the new person to be able to beat an experienced track runner.
No.
But that is not the job that I work in.
It is not, but it is all the same.
But I cannot change their perception.
You do not need to change their perception. You need to change your perception.
So then changing my own perception is taking away or stripping away the need to be perfect in everything.
Indeed. Please be patient with us for a moment as we ponder. In your heart of hearts, you know who you are. You have experiences that have hurt you, and we say this to everyone listening. Perhaps it's time to go into that pain and have a look at what it is that needs to be healed. Because once you can obtain that knowledge and understanding and healing, your realities will change. As in this discussion today, Allison is sharing her self with the world, her worries, her pain, and her misperceptions and programming is just a mirror for everyone out there who's tuning into this is the same. So perhaps many of you need to take a load off and stop needing to be perfectionists on such a high level that you cannot not obtain with no practice or time being given to it. Even if you have been that in another previous incarnation, this time round, you've forgotten everything. So in many ways, you are starting afresh. This world of yours has become such a high-paced reality, and it soon will become even faster. So you will need to all adjust yourselves and your energies to be able to work within this new energy increase of time as time speeds up. You may find you need to start to learn to slow down to be in balance with this speedy time which is coming your way. Perhaps taking more of a moment and breathing so you do not get lost in the time tornado that is about to hit your reality very soon. And we throw Jayson under the bus again. This will be quite a fun game to watch Jayson do as we say when it comes to taking a moment and breathing. Indeed. Remember, Allison, we are not here judging you, just sharing our perception on what we feel needs to be looked at. And we understand from your energetic field that you understand this on a level as well. You've just forgotten, and that is all. And you are being reminded to step back on your horse.
Yes, it feels like it's been a very long time since I've stepped back on the horse. I feel like I've been a very passive person. Not to say that passive is a bad thing, but you know what I mean.
Put back in a box where you cannot fight out of. Yet it is not about the box. The box is the illusion. It is the box within your mind that you need to look at.
So from what I gather, what I really need to do is give myself time.
Indeed.
Hopefully that reflects back into the company as well.
It is simply like riding a bike. It takes time to ride and master a bike, as does everything else. And that is part of the beauty of being here as working within being human. Things take time to master. And funnily enough, you are all mastering things more quicker than ever before. Your gurus would take a lifetime to master certain things, you are now all mastering those within moments. Isn't this interesting?
Time does speed up over generations. But I just feel, well, okay, everyone, you just got to give yourself time.
We ask you all just to be patient with yourselves and breathe more and let go and not take on so much of the perfection and expectation, even though you feel it swirling around you. It is up to you all on how to handle this in your way. And taking a moment out is useful. Indeed, because you are working with old programs that need to be looked at and healed and let go of.
Although I do have support at the company to tell me, to say, well, one colleague came up and said that she was worried about me because she's noticed I've worked through my lunch breaks. But I find that if I work through my lunch breaks, then I'm even more behind on my work. So it is hard to step away.
Indeed. What we're saying is, you could say theory or in words, but to be within that is a very different reality in itself. We 100% understand this. We are just here to share with you different perceptions, and it is up to you to implement that within your reality whilst you're sitting in your office. Is there anything else before we go?
Not really, not unless you have last few words for everyone.
We'll start by saying this, Allison. We are very proud of you. You've come such a long way, more than you could ever realise and know, and you are more loved than you ever know.
Oh, have you been reading my thing?
No, it is our original thing. Thank you very much.
Oh, I better tell AA Milne about that too.
And to all those people who are watching and listening, we have the intention of this is very helpful indeed for those who are transitioning in any way that is needed at this time. And your world is changing and shifting dramatically and very quickly, and sometimes jumping out of the ship too soon is not always beneficial. Perhaps you are all needing to learn or have a certain experience to help you grow and expand beyond the self that you are now. And with this said, we send you all love and healing. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us once again. Okay.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I just head went. Oh, yeah, that's a new one.
It was really good. It was really good. I am starting to understand that I need to give myself time. I understand that, and I understand that I need to relax more.
As best you can in that situation.
Yeah.
And I was getting that there's just patterns and triggerings that's being triggered within you from a long time, and you're just now, hopefully through this conversation, this will just help you have a better understanding of you, to be able to shape shift your physical reality from doing it from within, and know that there is help there. Because I was getting, they were going to say, Jayson has no problem asking for help where he works, because I just go, if I need help, I need help. I don't care. It's blah, blah. It's like, if I need it, I just ask. I'm annoying.
No. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I can't ask for help.
Yeah. And that would go back down to perhaps your parents as well. So there's something in that you feel like you can't help. You can't get the help that you think.
Well, that will go down to my parents, because they always believed that they were right.
Yeah.
And if I asked for help, then there would be a catch.
Yeah.
And
that would be it. So for you asking for help, perhaps where you work, there might be a catch.
Or because of the upbringing that I could only go to them, I have been so determined to do everything myself.
So you're actually being taught to ask for help.
Yes, which I have been very begrudgingly tried not to. Yes.
You ready to shut shop?
Yes, I am ready to shut shop. So my lesson is to be able to ask for help regardless of how embarrassing it might seem or the energetic feeling like it's arrows I get.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for listening and watching. You'll see us, you'll hear us in the next one. Loving blessings, everyone. Bye.
Bye.